Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Alchemy of Thoughts. I am your host Tisha Monet, and with me today I have Sage the Godsis. Make sure you guys keep it locked because we're about to get deep. It's me again, Tisha Monet, the host of Alchemy of Thought, and welcome to another episode. I am so happy to kick off season 2, dropping like so many gems. Let's dive a little bit deeper to what causes self-transformation into mental alchemy. So first, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I'm really looking forward to this conversation, and then you just opening up the doors to new perspectives and giving us enlightenment. So first, introduce yourself, and then we're going to jump right into the conversation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Divine alignment and prosperity. My name is Sage the Godsis, and I am your favorite shorty, your healer, and welcome to all of me.
Wonderful. So can you please explain what it is that you do,
Absolutely.
all your titles, and how do you help heal the community and just give back to the community?
Absolutely. So I am the owner and founder of Enlightened Spa. SPA is an acronym for Spiritual Practice Association, because I'm a firm believer that whatever happens in the metaphysical parts of ourselves, mental, emotional, spiritual, manifests in the physical. And what we don't handle and tackle with those metaphysical properties, it shows up in the physical, such as disease, tumor, cysts, depression, the list goes on.
Oh, acne, all that stuff.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, wow.
because the skin
Okay.
is the largest organ of the body. So as a licensed massage therapist for 11 years now, I educate and encourage my clients to have a abundant life by taking care of themselves and putting themselves first.
Okay.
I am also a Tantric Practitioner, as well as a Reiki and energy master. I reflexology, cupping, the list goes on.
Oh, wow.
My goal is to make sure that they are aware of what they do on one side correlates with the other. It all balances out.
Wonderful. So can you give us a little bit of your personal backstory, however much you want to share, and just kind of lead us down this journey as to why you went into this line of work?
Yes, yeah. My Alliance Touch Spa is an extension of who I am.
Okay.
My mom transitioned when I was 8,
Okay.
and she died in a fire. So with that, I grew an intimate relationship with depression.
Okay.
I grew also, I opened and activated my psychic abilities, but I did not know how to harness that because my family, they weren't about that. You know, I grew up in a religious
It wasn't nurtured.
Yeah, you
okay.
know, I had a few folks that study the Christian faith, Islamic. So speaking about it, I knew I was going to be shunned, or they thought I was crazy. So I depressed that part of me, and because of that, I started to fill that void with other things, on top of having an abusive relationship with my father.
Okay.
After my mom transitioned, I lived with my dad, but he only did what he was taught, and how his parents raised him and what he saw. And because of that, it trickled onto me and my siblings. So once we left and we lived with my grandmother, that's when I, again, was still in depression, emotionally eating, having unwanted toxic sex. We know what toxic dick does to you, it throws you off. And just trying to fill this void, which is the loss of my mom, abandonment, and really what the knee deep was the love that I received from her. I was trying to fill that void by filling me up, and it ended up with me having, drug addiction, an abortion at a young age, just going down a really dark path. And at one point I realized that this wasn't it when I had postpartum depression after my son, and I knew I needed to take care of myself because I needed to be present for my child. I knew what generational curses does to our family and the community, and it starts from home. So because of that, I took the opportunity to take care of me, so that overflow can assist my son. So Enlightened Touch Spa is the knowledge and insight that I developed from what I saw from my teachers, from my walk, and to encourage the people that are around me to live a fruitful life. When you have an abundant and orgasmic life by taking care of you, everything else will be the reflection of that.
Yes. So around what age did you begin to like really shift into who you were and what it is that you wanted to follow? Yeah, I know you said you lost your mom at a very young age. Then you left your father and moved with your grandmother. How long was it after that? Or was it later on in your adult years that you kind of started to walk in your own authentic self?
Right. So after I graduated in massage school, I graduated when I was 20. So yeah, I've been doing it for
still very young. Yeah, okay.
So young. Tense shoulders. So because I started so young, I realized I had a gift when I had a client who was on my table and she was going through something and she just started crying. She just released. And I knew I had a nurturing presence for her to feel safe enough to work through whatever she had to work through. And at the time I was still young, so I didn't know any feedback to give to her, but just to take care of herself. But that moment when I knew that she felt the need to feel safe enough to release these emotions, the energy and emotion, I knew for a fact. I was like, all right,
this is it.
This is it.
Wonderful. Okay, so you mentioned that you are a tantric practitioner. Is that, did I say the title correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so can you explain what that is and like just like kind of break that down? Because I know people have heard of tantric sex before, tantric intimacy, but from experienced, knowledgeable person, can you explain what that is?
Absolutely. So the word Tantra, the Sanskrit word for Tantra means to weave. It's weaving your spiritual and physical energies. I also like to extend it more and weave the light and the darks of ourselves.
Okay.
In order to have an orgasmic experience or orgasmic life, you have to activate this sexual life force energy by tapping in. And that's a challenge for some because we don't know how to tap into our emotions because we block it off. I like to call it an insecurity closet where we just throw everything, all our emotions in there, and we try to like shove it back.
And then we pushing the door closed.
Right. And then one day you try to throw something and everything just cascades across the floor. So I encourage my couples that I work with or the singles that I work with is to understand how your body feels or what's triggering you. Like, feel it. Don't run from it, because when you run from it, you're not facing it. You're just going to keep running and running until one day it's going to just keep on showing with other people you're around, the partners that you're dealing with, the job that you're handling. These lessons that you're not tackling will come in the forefront until you tackle it and learn from it. So you can't run from the shadow parts of yourself. You have to actually make love to it and face it.
And so the shadow parts, right? That's imperative in order to do for you to practice Tantra sex successfully, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and it's not just the sex itself, it's the work that you do, the inner work that you do for yourself to activate your sexual life force energy.
Okay.
And that sits right in the sacral energy of our chakras. So when you are activating this energy, you're allowing it to move up and flow and heal different parts of you, such as like your heart, if you have inner child issues and you need to reparent yourself, if you know how to heal different parts of your organs, your throat chakra. A lot of times we don't know how to speak up for ourselves or advocate for ourselves.
And that's exercising that throat chakra when we do that. And she helped me actually do that right before we started recording. So thank you for that, sis.
Absolutely, my pleasure. Yeah. So when you learned how to, when you realize what this energy is, and it's not, me just feeling horny, it's actually your life force energy being activated. Wow,
I really want to, keep going. I want to hone in on that.
Yeah, because I had a client over my retreat over the weekend. She was like, yeah, I feel horny. No, that's your energy. It's just because how we were raised, our parents didn't teach us, like, if we feel a sensation, this is your life force energy. We automatically just looked at it as
sexual, like you're aroused sexually.
Right, absolutely. I mean, for me, for instance, I wasn't taught, we learned in school, but I first saw sex through porn. My pops had the
I know tapes, about that. I used to steal them from my dad too.
Right.
I hope I will never watch this.
I rewinded back to where you had it at, and we didn't have those conversations. So I saw, I was taught that this is how you're supposed to have sex. Some guy's just ramming you and with Tim's on, and you're just supposed to, just embrace all of that.
Okay.
And then because of that, I mimic that through the partners that I had.
I got you.
As well as not knowing what my energy was or how to be creative with this life force energy. It's not just about making a baby, it's about making projects that are babies, that are newborns, and developing that into a toddler and then an adolescent. So once you learn how to tap into this energy, you can create whatever it is in your reality.
Yes.
And make it orgasmic.
Yes.
So when it is time to roll into the bedroom, you know what to do. You have the breathwork exercises. You've done the work by tapping into these emotions that you wanted to run away from that was blocking you. And then you can intertwine that with your partner.
Yes.
Or you can just be alone and still
feel that. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's speak more about that sensation, right? That we get, like that horny, that's what most people know it as, right? But that's your life force. It's not necessarily you just being horny, because I remember getting that sensation when I'm like under stress or pressure, or I feel like anxiety. Like I remember getting that feeling and at a very young age, and I'm like, I'm not horny, I was feeling anxiety from whatever it is that I was doing at that moment. So is this where sexual transmutation would come into play? Like you taking that life force energy and kind of using that energy and put it into something else? Is that
so? So we'll use your situation example. Like let's say you go into a job interview and you're feeling really anxious and everything is just really activated. You would breathe through that. So you will place your hands right, on your lower on your stomach or your womb. I like to be as close and connected as possible because again, we weren't taught how to really tap into our feminine energy. Like when we had our periods, it was like, all right, here's some chocolate. and these winged pads from hair to hair, and then that was that. We weren't taught that this was a celebration, that our bodies were releasing and to really connect to our yonis. We were taught to be angry and hate our yonis, and because of that, that's where the disconnect happens. And that compound effect brings on you not connecting to your intuition. So when something arises and you don't know if you should go left or right because you don't trust your intuition, you're not connected.
You're not in tune with it and trust yourself.
Exactly. So let's say if you, like the situation earlier that we had, I know you started feeling something because you didn't want to be a disappointment or whatever have you. You would sit and breathe and allow that energy to flow upward. And bring it to your throat chakra at this time. That's where you had to communicate and allowing yourself to express the way you need to and get to the point of it, not allowing it to sit and fester. So that's one way. Or just, let's say, I love dancing. I mean, you dance. I've seen your videos.
Yeah, thank you.
You know the shoulder
thank
shimmy. So when you're dancing, you're feeling that movement. Dancing is about celebration, about feminine energy. You're not in your masculine now. You're in this stillness and receptive. That when you're dancing and you're flowing in this energy and you're allowing it to rise, that's when at that moment you can start creating what it is that you want. Because you're getting this energy, this stagnant energy that was sitting up and out. And other times there's some people that dance and a lot of anger comes up. You have to remember, if you're not working with this energy, whatever's sitting in that pit of who you are is going to come up first.
Come up to the surface.
And when I was on my journey, because this doesn't stop, I still do my Tantra work, I still do my shadow work, because I'm my first teacher. I can't lead my life if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to, and then I dry me out. So there was a point where I stopped dancing and I had to get back to it. I would look in the mirror and I was angry with myself because I didn't like how I was treating myself. I didn't like how my body looked. Just a lot of anger came up, and then I was breathing through that and allowing that anger to be released and then transmuted to gratefulness. So as we release things, we have to transmute it into something higher than it was.
Exactly. So vibrating, this vibrations, vibrating higher. The frequencies.
So you can pour that back into yourself, because if you don't, you'll just be releasing anger and it goes right back to home, because that's where it's at. That's where anger lives. It lives in the liver. fear lives in the kidneys. So if you're releasing these fears, but you're not putting back faith into your kidneys or your body, the fear goes right back, and then you'll have those thoughts again, and then you start doing things that you're not supposed to be doing based off of fear. So everything is a work in progress.
Okay, and it's also been very important to be patient with yourself.
Patience,
as
compassion,
yes,
grace.
And we give it to others, but we don't give it to ourselves.
Right,
yeah,
right. So. Even still, some people don't even know how to give compassion to others. They just know what the word looks like and the definition, but when you're not really in compassion for yourself, you're just giving something that you saw someone else give you. Compassion is really being passionate about where you are at this present time and being grateful for where you are at this present time. And that's the part of being still in your feminine energy and knowing that whatever that is that you asked for, you wrote down and you want to manifest, and it's going to come, but you have to be still and be happy where you are in your current state to get to where you need to be. Yes. If you're worried and fearful about where you are right now, it's going to hold you back.
So just have that faith and be grounded in that, and let it flow through you. Whatever it is that you feel, just feel it, let it go. So I went to Pizza in the Park yesterday. Oh, okay. So shouts out to Doc Stigler and just all the mini creators that was there. And we did wonderful meditation practices where he helped me realize the actual energy that is flowing through our bodies, like us moving and everything. And we did a practice where the shaking of the hands, and then afterwards we literally felt like the tingles. He called them like little ants moving. Like you can literally feel the energy.
Yes.
And it's fascinating what you realize when you tap in.
That part.
Like literally, it is mind blowing. So I really appreciated that.
Absolutely.
So can you, speaking on the Tantra experience, can you explain what are the spiritual benefits now? So you're doing this, right? You're going through the journey. You're doing the shadow work. What are some of the benefits that you see that you'll just start noticing within yourself as a person?
Right. I was just about to say, I can speak on my behalf. Yes. I know I encourage others, but it all falls back on me. So when I first started doing, studying as a Tantric practitioner, it showed up a lot of things that I was taught.
Okay.
Taboos, or you can't do this, or you can't get married, you can't have sex without marriage. So a lot of things that I learned, I had to reprogram that. I had to shed from that. Because I was shedding from that, I'm like, all right, well then who am I in the midst
without all this learned behavior? Yes. Oh, that part. Yes. Who am I?
Yes. And it brought up frustration.
Okay.
Because for many years, the people that you're around, you trust that they will be, they're giving you the knowledge that they're, that is for you. But all in all, they're just giving you the knowledge that they learned or they saw or what's comfortable for them in their life and how they want you to be comfortable in your life. So as I started peeling back these shells and these layers, the me came up, the person I was free, the innocent me, the liberated, the expansion, the elevation of who I am came up and arise. And to know that I'm creating my orgasmic life how I see fit makes it a wonderful tool for my son to live his life how he sees fit when he gets older. So because as much as I want to teach him, he won't do what he won't do anyway. But just to know that he sees me happy where I am right now.
It's happy. Yeah. And I always said, a child does not need a perfect parent. They just need a happy parent.
That part.
They just need a happy parent. And that looks like many different things, whether you're romantically involved with a partner or you're a single parent. Be happy with yourself so you can be happy for your child.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really, really important. So I know we kind of touched on this a little bit, but if you can just elaborate on it a little bit deeper about what is shadow work, how would someone even begin the process? I know it looks different for everyone, absolutely. But how would someone know that they want to heal, right? They're miserable, or they're always angry, or they don't know why they react the way they react.
Right.
So how do they begin to unpack that to start walking in their authentic truth?
I would say, the key thing that you said is, why they react the way they do. You have to sit with yourself and say, what's up? Why am I doing this? Really be still and ask yourself that question. And the answer will arise. You have to remember, it's like a big pool of water.
Yeah, but even before that, right? Wouldn't a person have to have accountability? Because some people what about those that point blame others, right? So even if they sit with themselves, their perspective is they did this to me. They did this to me. So could someone like that, would they have to reach another level of consciousness first in order to begin like the shadow work?
No, you just have to be mindful.
Okay.
And so, like I said, you have this big pool of water, and it's the deeper you look, the deeper you see that there's just darkness. So as you're sitting with it, and let's say abandonment issue arises, like why do I feel like X, Y, and Z when my spouse leaves? Why do I feel like, abandoned? That might float up. Instead of trying to push it down, bring it up to the surface and look at it. Okay, so what is abandonment? Oh, my dad left when I was 5 years old, and that's why I have trust issues. And work with that. And so then okay, so you have the abandonment issue from daddy. Now your action is, I spaz out on my spouse when he leaves, or I think that he's going to leave on me. The reaction is you end up being upset and angry, and his reaction is, all right, man, I'm about to be out, and he gets upset. There's a compound effect to everything.
Yes.
So in order for you to be accountable, after you go back from all those trails and you figure out what it is, you have the choice to either say, oh, well, this is just who I am, which is, we got to stop saying that. Like, you can wipe from front to back. You grown. Like, get it together. Like, you can't keep blaming your parents for that. So either you have the option to say, okay, I'm going to change and be accountable and say, hey, babe, I'm going to be vulnerable with you right now. Tantra and shadow work is about being vulnerable. I'm going to be vulnerable with you right now. Like, every time you do this, that, and a third, it reminds me of when my dad did this, that, and a third. I know that's not you, and I'm doing my best to work through it. Key words. Because he can't help you. That's up to you.
Produce a different action, you will produce a different result.
Absolutely.
And like you said, it's the compound of effects happening, right? So if you get into a little spat or whatever with your partner, and then you spaz out and you're afraid, your ultimate thing that you're afraid of is him leaving. But you know that the action that you're giving him is going to push him to leave. So respond differently. And that's where the accountability comes in. What could that's how I look at it with accountability. What could I have done in this situation to produce a different outcome? You know what I mean?
Instead of always reacting based off of what you see, just be still real quick. Take a deep breath and then respond when you're ready.
Wonderful. Let's see, where did I pick up? Okay, so does a person, so this is going into partnership, right? And we're speaking about healing and Tantra. Does a person, from your professional opinion, should they be practicing shadow work or just working on their personal growth in order to have the ability to practice Tantra with their partner? Like, should they be working on that? Should that be like done separately, or is that something that can be done simultaneously with their partner?
Absolutely. Like I said, we had a couples tantra event over in Georgia, and I encourage their couples, as much as you pour into this relationship, you still have to pour into yourself first and foremost. If you have this huge cup and it's this much, and then your partner got all this, and he's pouring or she's pouring into the relationship, and you can only give a little bit, it's gonna look one-sided. So as our couples or anyone works with this energy, you have to be mindful of, there's gonna be a lot of things coming up. That's where love language kicks in. Understanding each other's love language and how to pour to each other with your love language. So let's say if you're quality time and I am acts of service. You want me to give you quality time. I can't give you acts of service. That's what you give to me.
Got you.
So once you understand that communication as well, that's when you can also, it also becomes beautiful and it becomes orgasmic. So as much as so even still, like let's say you are quality time, you have to give yourself quality time. That's how you pour that sweet honey love back to yourself. Because you can't expect this person to do it for you, because he's still doing the work that he needs to. How dare we ask this person to keep pouring, and then you're not giving back, and then they can't pour into themselves because that codependency energy starts to kick in.
And like you hit it right on the nail. Showing up as your partner's love language, because although you might be loving them from what it is that you like to receive. They're not registering that because it's not their love language. And then that's where the whole you don't appreciate me, or the you're not grateful.
Right.
That's how you start, like it builds all those feelings of animosity.
Right.
Like, how can you not say I love you because you're not showing up the way that I need you to show up?
Right.
And that's like one of the biggest tug of wars I feel in any relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. It's to comprehend in the understanding that, a lot for me, I know all 5 love languages is mine because I haven't received that, but I know there's some that are stronger. And then I know there's seasons where some may change. I may want quality time in the springtime, but in the winter, I just want acts of service.
Yeah.
Give me some head.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Wash the dishes.
Right.
How my day go smooth.
Right, exactly. So that's where
Definitely.
check-in comes in. So you have to check in with your spouse. Like, how you feeling today, babe? He may say, or she may say, like, I'm doing all right. Do you want a hug? No, I'm really feeling just words of affirmation today.
So I really want to get into this part because I know that a lot of us within our communities, like Tantra is new to a lot of people, including myself. I've heard of the word and I've, dabbled in it, but I'm not experienced, and I want to just really clear up a lot of misconceptions. So could you tell us about some misconceptions that you may have heard of along your journey, if there are any?
Right.
And then if you could just help us, like, just enlighten us on some of those things.
Right. So I heard, before I even started as a Tantra practitioner, that Tantra was about these, like, Western white folk having these huge orgies.
That's what comes, everything, first thing that comes to mind is like sex, right? And these powerful out of body orgasms, right? So, which it could be that too.
When you do the energy work.
The energy work is the foundation of it. Yeah.
the tapping in, yes, the energy work, and then the work that we do, the things that we've learned about ourselves and what we picked up and how we need to shed that goes into effect. But yeah, I heard like, these white folks are just like having these huge orgies, and I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. But then they kept calling me, and then eventually, like, I typed in Tantra in New Jersey, like melanated woman. I could not find anyone, and then I actually found a sister in New York. So I called her. She was out of state. I think she was in a retreat, and I was asking her more about Tantra, and she was like, it's deeper than just sex. Like, she kept saying that, and I'm like, all right, I want to know about this. Sure enough, I went to school, and it is deeper than just sex. It's also the sexual traumas that we have, but it's the things that we picked up as well in our walk, and shedding that and learning to activate this energy. Especially the men. I work with a lot of men who've dealt with sexual trauma, either from a family member, man and woman, or their babysitter, and they didn't have that opportunity like us melanated sisters do, or women in general, to get that healing. They were just told, they bigged them up, oh, you the man now.
And when you're a 12-year-old boy and you have the 17, 18-year-old, 19, 20-year-old woman hitting on you, and your friends are like kind of giving you the pat,
uncle,
but that's pedophilia.
Yeah,
and that's a child. But it's so praised, and it's almost like, when you think about it, it's sickening. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it should be. But in society, it's kind of like, oh, like you pull the older chick, and it's like, no.
Yeah, and then it messes them up because then they realize as they get older, like, oh, I've been molested, and I didn't have anyone to speak to about that. My innocence was taken.
And when I did, they told me there's nothing wrong with this.
Exactly. So when I have my male clients that I work on, and they want to be present in the relationship, they want to be present for themselves, and it's hard because these emotions are bottled up. They can't speak up. Their throat chakras are blocked. That's where I come in and do the energy work to clear that energy out. You gotta get it up and out of you, so you can start working through this and baby stepping and giving yourself grace, because they feel like they have to catch up because society, everyone else, all these women are like, they're doing the work, and the men are like, what do we do? Yeah.
So they just feel lost and stuck.
Yeah,
I can understand that. That has to be emotionally a hard place to be. Where you want, especially if you're seeking to get the healing and the help, and there's not that many resources available to you. So what tools does a person need to adapt into their conscious in order to be successful in Tantra? Like, is there anything that we should start to do mentally that we can start to prepare? Like, for me, I would think it would be like just being open-minded, right? Like, you can't, and also how does people of different walks of faith, how does that relate to them, like Christian walk of faith, or the Islamic community, Jehovah's Witness, anyone that wants to unpack and heal and begin Tantra? How does that look like?
I would say just remove whatever thoughts you had about Tantra out the window. If you are really open to working with yourself. I actually was speaking to a Christian woman. We did orgasmic breathing and sound vocals to open up our chakra channels, and she was really inspired because she did tell me her backstory that she's a Christian woman, but she didn't shun it away because she understood that this is for her better health. And that's the key that I want everyone to understand, that it's for your better health. If you know this is for your highest good to live a life for you, then do that. Like, there's women that I work with that still wear clothes cover up, but they're in their feminine energy. They're tapped into their sexual energy. They don't have to flaunt it because that's not their thing, but they understand what their energy looks like and feels like for them. So yes. I would say make sure you're giving yourself grace because a lot is going to come up, a lot is going to arise. Make sure you're breathing too. We don't really breathe deeply.
Can you take us through like a breathing exercise and show myself and people?
Absolutely.
Great.
So you're going to place your hands either on your womb or your lower belly.
Okay, so place my hands here. Does it matter which hand or over?
We have different ways, but right now we're just going to connect now.
Okay, all right.
So you're going to close your eyes down and breathe. And as you're breathing, you're going to fill up your belly and breathe out of your mouth with an audible sigh. Breathe in deeply and breathe out. Deep breath in and breathe out. And as you're inhaling, continue. You're inhaling and you're exhaling with this audible sigh. You're allowing your throat chakra to activate. Continue breathing. You're filling yourself up with this good energy, and you're centering yourself at this time. Go back to your regular breath cycle, and you're going to place one hand over your heart and one on your womb. Go back to your regular breathing and just connect with yourself right now. How does your body feel?
I feel light. I feel tingly, I feel like a tingling sensation.
So it's the deep orgasmic breathing and then activating it with your throat chakra.
That audible breathing, letting it out, using it.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Yes. And your voice too. Your voice is very soothing, which also helps.
Yeah. I mean,
you turned it on real quick.
We get the hood out and we bring this in. Yeah.
Yes, that was beautiful though.
You.
Okay.
Yes.
And is that something that we can just practice whenever? Do you recommend that when we're feeling anxiety or we're feeling under pressure or whatever, just take that moment to breathe, right? Whatever it is that we're feeling, let it come to the surface and then let it pass.
Yes, absolutely.
And then also I find that is where clearer decisions can be made.
And you're not just reacting anymore. Now you're responding because you have a clear head and an open heart. As well as if you are open with your partner to have tantric sex, orgasmic breathing is a must.
Okay.
Because it has to flow. If you're doing your deep breaths and then he's doing shallow breathing, or he's not activating his throat chakra, the energy ends up stopping.
Okay. It's like a windmill. It has to continuously go.
It's a flow. So as your chakras are opening up and it's weaving together, your orgasmic breathing is a cycle now. So everyone has to stay in tune and in sync. And it's a meditative practice. That's where Tantra sex come in. But again, that's where you have to get to the work to get to the milk and honey. Yeah. If you're the only person doing the work and you're like, babe, let's do this, and he's not really open to it, it's going to be a challenge. Or vice versa. There's a lot of men that I'm realizing that are tapping into their sexual and feminine energy. So they want their partners to, be on the same wavelength. Yeah. And even still, if you have to work together, that's fine. But if that person doesn't have an open mind and an open heart,
it's hard.
It ends up being a little bit more challenging because now you're pushing someone to do something that
they're not really ready for. And that's a great point, because I think that's what I was trying to get at earlier when I was asking what are the tools, and I said you have to start to be open-minded, right. But you can't. There is no time, right? No. It's all in divine time. Absolutely. At that person's pace. So if you do have someone or a partner that is not there yet, the best thing is to just
is to take one of my classes. Enlightened Sacred Sexuality, group or private. We learn on breathing, eye gazing, connecting our hearts together, and learning how to be intimate and present with ourselves and our partners. So I definitely recommend it.
Yes, and that process would like help you become open-minded and have the open heart to try new things. I love it. Yes.
I started September 2020.
Okay.
Because I actually, after I graduated, I came back up to Jersey, and I'm currently the only melanated sister in Jersey as a Tantra practitioner.
Wow, are you?
Yeah, I looked it up. I couldn't find that in their soul. I'm like, is it just me?
Congratulations to you. Yeah. Congratulations to you. And I will personally be taking one of your classes.
Thank you.
Hopefully I'll have someone to bring with me in the near future. But we'll see. That's another. Yes.
Dance him up. So I would like a good helpful tip. Like you will write down who this partner is that you're desiring, and then you move through that, and then be mindful. Whoever you're writing down. Are you that image?
Oh, yes.
Or you know, if you
very important.
Yeah.
Be who it is that you want to attract.
Because he is your reflection, or she is your reflection. So if you want someone with an 800 credit score, I've been not Nancy or 200. But if you do work up to the 800, know that, you know, this person will come when they come. You know, the reflections of our partners are literally who we are at this time. So if you have trust issues, best believe you're manifesting someone, and be mindful too. Like you just like, oh, I want me a partner. The universe is like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
and send you that partner. And he's gonna teach
be
you
specific
lessons.
And be precise with
Very
your words
detailed.
and your very detailed. And don't be ashamed. What you want is what you want.
Absolutely.
And say it. Use that throat.
Yeah. Don't just say tall, dark, handsome. You got to get a little bit more detail because you're really going to get that tall, dark, handsome, and then he ain't shit or she ain't shit. You
got all this other stuff in between.
Right.
But he this or she's that.
Right.
Yeah,
but the beautiful thing is that in between is actually you. Your reflections.
Wow. That's deep.
Yeah.
That in between, that stuff that you didn't mention, you left out. That's
created,
the you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're here to show you the lessons about what you need to work on within yourself.
Wow, that's deep. That's very deep.
You did say that earlier. We're gonna dive deep.
That's deep. I love that. That is something to really think about and really reflect on, like with myself and any partners that you guys have, and you're like, yo, like I've been feeling this way, right? I'm trying to suppress it or live a life as a facade, but my partner is reminding me consistently.
Because it's you. It's you that's coming up, and you need to face it. And don't run from it, because what you're going to do is end up leaving this person, and then you're going to be celibate, or you're going to have your little sex appointments, and then someone else comes up, different face, same thing, same energy, until you realize, what is this person here for? What am I learning from this person? Then you'll understand that this person is you, the shadow parts that you need to face,
that you need to work on. Absolutely.
And give yourself grace.
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. Is there anything else that's on your heart that you feel that you want to share or just enlighten us about? Anything at all?
I would have to say, when I was, going through depression and then postpartum depression, and I had my suicidal thoughts, and I, felt like this was about it for me. I took a picture of myself, and I realized this wasn't me. This wasn't me living in my authentic truth. I was being pulled by other people, how I should raise my son, or how I should be as a mother and a daughter and a granddaughter. The list goes on, how to show up. Once I looked at that picture and I said, this was it, I changed. I released the emotional eating. Now I'm more mindful of it. And then I also released me not being someone that I'm not. Because that's what depression is depressing the person that you're supposed to be. So I ask and I encourage you to live your life for how you see fit, not how anyone else sees it. Fuck them, girl. Fuck them. Because it's not going to do you no never mind. You're going to wake up every day hurting and wishing that you were living your life, always on social media, they having a fun life. You can be living the life that you desire if you let go of what you've seen and bring in and usher in who you want to be at this present time. Always continue to give yourself gratitude and give yourself grace and big you up. Give yourself a round of applause, because 5 years ago you was in a different page. You was in a different mentality, and now look at you. You're like this blossoming butterfly. So always stop in the middle of your journey to have fun and to give yourself your ashes and your appreciations, because you deserve that.
Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you. I feel like you were speaking to me, girl. Thank you. And so last but not least, let people know where they can find you, where they can take your classes, IG, social media handles, all that.
Yes, so you can find me on Instagram, Sage_the Godsis. That's Sage_the Godsis. Make sure I get the wink at the make the noise.
You're so silly. You're so silly. And where do you hold your classes?
I do private, so I can either come to your house. I have different places in Newark, so when I have the workshops, I usually put it on my page.
Okay.
So once I have the up-to-date one and you follow me, you'll see what I have. And then I also do 101. So if you don't have a partner and you are single and you want to get into this work, know that I will assist you, but I'm not holding your hand because I still have my own things to work on, my ancestral work. But I'm just a guide to assist you and encourage you. At the end of the day, you are your own healer, and I help those that help themselves.
I love it. That's actually on your IG page.
It sure is, because I made sure.
Yeah,
because folks will come and just want
change me. Change me.
No, you're not a baby. I don't change diapers.
I love it.
A whole 7-year-old. I don't do that. But I'm here to, if you are willing to actually put in the work, I'm here to help you. I'm here to assist you. If there's something that comes up and you don't know how it feels to your body, let's do that somatic work. Let's do that Tantra work. Tantra is somatic work as well. So it's intertwined. So let's sit with this. Don't run from it anymore. You've been doing it for so long, but you came to me to get this work. So don't be pushing out this money thinking that I'm going to save you. I am not a genie. I can only just help you if you put in the work yourself.
Yes. Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. Well, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This has been another episode of Alchemy of Thought. I'm your host, Sisha Monet. We were just blessed with the lovely presence of Sage the Godsis. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you so much. This was beautiful. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.